Hi everyone, Aaron here for Zolotech, and Apple has been updating some of their apps recently, so I thought we'd talk about that. Also, there's third-party app updates and more. These are the major app updates for the beginning of March 2024. Now, the first thing is Apple updated GarageBand. Now, they don't typically update it by itself, but this time around, version 2.3.15 brings stability improvements and bug fixes. But one odd thing that it actually brings is security updates. They actually patched some security issues, one specifically where it says macOS Ventura and macOS Sonoma, where processing a maliciously crafted file may lead to unexpected app termination or arbitrary code execution. They fixed it where a use after free issue was addressed with improved memory management. And then there's someone here with the CVE number who helped them find the issue. So make sure you update GarageBand if you're using that and you haven't already. Also, Apple's new Sports app got its first update. So if you're using the Sports app, if we go to the upper right, there's new updates with NBA, where Apple's added the NCAA March Madness. They've also updated it with MLB changes, and final scores are now sorted by league. So if we go into MLB, there's no games today or upcoming. You'll see here. If we go into NBA, again, it's been updated with March Madness and much more. So make sure you update this. If you're waiting for NFL and others, I would expect that to come once we get closer to the NFL season start. Apple TV also got an update as well that goes along with sports. So if we go into TV, while the app itself didn't get an update, if you wanted to watch MLS, that's now free this weekend. So if you wanted to watch specific games, you can watch those free without having any subscription or anything like that to TV Plus. So MLS matches are free just this weekend, so you can try it out. So if you want to do that, be sure to check it out, and maybe you'll have access to other things here as well, not just sports. Apple is launching new arcade games in April for not only iPhone and iPad, but also Apple Vision Pro. You can see Puyo Puyo Puzzle Pop, spatial games such as Crossy Road Castle and Solitaire Stories, and if we scroll down, there's a few others as well. On Apple's newsroom website where they announced this, you can see the different examples of the games coming very soon. Also, Apple Maps got an update, especially if you're in 3 new countries, Austria, Belgium, and Sweden. And they now offer cycling directions. So this seems to roll out slowly to different countries, but you'll see here's one from Stockholm to another location, and it also shows the elevation. So these are really nice. If you haven't used these before, they're now available in those countries. Now that iOS 17.4 has brought third-party apps and browsers to the EU, Brave browser has actually started to see a huge increase within the installs in the EU. They actually announced this on X or Twitter, and you'll see the actual spike in their traffic of downloads. So it seems the overall choice is changing the way people install their browsers. Let me know what browser you use in the comments below. Also with iOS 17.4, Apple introduced Sideloading, or at least third-party app stores in the EU with default browsers, changes to NFC, and more. However, this past week they updated their developer app talking about more flexibility for apps being installed in the European Union, where they'll be able to be installed from a web browser just like you can on a Mac in the future. This could be with iOS 17.5. We'll talk more about it in the weekend follow-up video. If we go into the App Store, you'll see that Taylor Swift is at the very top, sort of promoting the Eras tour on Disney+. They actually have an exclusive clip as you scroll down that starts to play, and I think this is the first time I've seen this. However, some of the code itself of iOS 17.4 actually had the words Taylor Swift in it for some reason. So maybe it was referring to this, where it had this exclusive clip just to sort of play as we scroll down, and that sort of promotes it. Also, we're seeing more and more ads within the App Store, such as this one here for Rooms to Go, and Apple is working on more AI-focused versions of ads so that it maybe targets what you're looking at more. I typically turn all of those analytics off, though, as far as the App Store goes. And if you want to do that, you can go into your settings, and under Settings with Privacy and Security, scroll down to where it actually says Apple Advertising. I turn off personalized ads. You can leave this on if you want to, but it sort of goes across all of iOS, so I leave that off in general. Apple has announced, along with Google, Mozilla, and others, that there's an update to Speedometer Browser Speed Tester to version 3.0. If you want to test the overall benchmarks of a browser, this has been updated so that you can do that. I'll link it in the description if you want to check it out. It just measures the things such as as web application responsiveness, and more. When it comes to third-party apps, there's some updates. The first one has to do with WhatsApp. If you haven't updated this already, a couple days ago, WhatsApp released an update that fixed an issue with copying and pasting images, so make sure you install the latest update there. Also, the day before that, WhatsApp had a new beta that has a new feature that allows you to view and manage communities from the business version according to WA beta info. Some people are seeing that if they have the beta in test flight. Spotify has some updates as well. Spotify now is rolling out music videos and new beta in limited countries. So if you scroll down in this press release, you can read about it, but there's also a new button here that allows you to switch to a video version of that song if it's available. That's something that's rolling out to premium Spotify users if you actually have that. Also, their desktop app gets an update as well. Jam on desktop is now available, so if you use the desktop experience, you can share with others and sort of have a listening party together. Now, Google Chrome is getting a real-time URL protection update. This is pretty major. They announced this the other day, and it goes across Mac and iOS as well. It allows for real-time privacy-preserving URL protection, as you can see here. You can read all about it here, how it works, and it keeps your data private. So this is a big update for users on Mac and iOS, and should be available pretty soon or now if you've had the latest update. Also, Stripe, if you use that, is now available with Apple Pay Later, and it's enabled by default. It allows you to pay in 4 equal payments over 6 weeks with no interest or fees built right into Apple Wallet. So if you want to use Stripe with Apple Pay Later, you can now offer that to customers. I'm always looking for a good email app, and many people suggest Proton Mail as it's very secure and encrypted. Proton Mail's been available on iOS for a while, and it's finally available on Mac. It has zero-access encryption and end-to-end encryption and protects against trackers and much more. So there's finally a desktop app available. They announced it the other day on their blog, and it's available now if you want to check it out. Also, TikTok is getting closer to a ban or a sale of the app as the U.S. House of Representatives passed the first stage of the bill. Now, whether or not it actually goes away is hard to say. We don't really know what's going to come of this, but it seems like it may get banned but then be sold to someone else to manage in the United States. So we'll have to see what happens with that. Let me know what you think of that in the comments below. And as I've mentioned in other videos, please be kind as we have different opinions about that depending on who you are. And at the same time, the SP Android blog has found what seems to be a new photo app that's planned by TikTok, which is meant to compete with Instagram. So instead of going into TikTok, you would have something that would be just a photo-based app. I think a lot of people would appreciate that, and we'll have to see if they're actually going to do that based on what's going on with them. Also, VLC, if you've been using VLC at all in the past, VLC has been a great video player for many people, and their media player, apparently they already have one that works with Apple Vision Pro. However, they never released it yet, as they said there's not a ton of users. So they're waiting to release it. They have one up and running in their offices, but it looks like they may or may not release it. We don't know yet. But either way, I would love to see more options for things like that on Apple Vision Pro along with other apps. Now, if you're a fan of OmniFocus, it's now got a native app for Apple Vision Pro. So if you've been wanting to use it, you're using OmniFocus 4, you can use it on Apple Vision Pro as well if you've been looking for that sort of productivity app in general with projects and more. So that's all the different app updates this week, quite a few from Apple, third-party apps, and others. If there's any other third-party apps you want me to be on the lookout for as far as updates, let me know in the comments below. And of course, I'll link this wallpaper in the description like I normally do. If you haven't subscribed already though, please subscribe. And if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. As always, thanks for watching. This is Aaron. I'll see you next time.